I made a story about Valorant's Shameless Clone. It was a game called Hyperfront 2. You can see by literally the skull kill, as well as a sage wall and a Reyna blind, this game was a Valorant mobile copycat. I use the word shameless because you can see all these as their respective agents in Valorant, but truth be told, these are billion-dollar companies and I don't really care if they're copying each other, and you guys don't either. It's just fun to look at from the third perspective. Now, what ended up happening is Tencent, the parent company of Riot Games, ended up suing Hyperfront, and eventually Hyperfront came crumbling down and completely disappeared until today. It is coming back with a vengeance to re-hit the mobile market. On top of that, a competitor, another Valorant clone, is also about to hit the market. So today we're going to be looking at two Valorant clones to see exactly what's going on. Now, there are some funny things like the fact that Hyperfront 2 had a replay system before Valorant, and the entire community was sort of joking about it in my last video. But despite all this, and while there is a lot of copy pasting, there's also some complete unique elements to Hyperfront 2. Once it shut down, no one expected it to make a comeback, but here it is re-releasing as Operation Apocalypse. Actually, what you're watching right now is their latest trailer. What's funny is this is a rebranding of Hyperfront 2, and I think they're trying to change enough to make it that they won't get sued a second time and get their game shut down again. With that being said, we can see, sure, some sort of cool tornado that's unique, but then look at this ability, which is just a sky ultimate thrown out into the air that then tracks the target. Now, this isn't a bad thing. Like I said, I don't really care if they're copying Valorant. We're not trying to defend Riot or Valorant ourselves. Wait. Is this just an Omen ult, but he's like covered in sand? Is it like a sand Omen? Look at the animation here. Look at the animation. Okay, this is kind of funny. But it is funny to again see this from the sides. Just getting completely shut down and then changing it up a little bit more and then relaunching. Just to see if maybe another lawsuit will come our way, or if we could slip through the cracks and have a mobile game competitor on the market. Now, this is very important because Valorant is working to release their own mobile game. We know that Valorant console is officially here. Compared to when I made the previous video, it wasn't. So it is technically closer than ever. We've had mobile Valorant gameplay before, and we know that it might come at the end of 2024 or sometime 2025. And while this clone is insane, the next one is also insane, and it's basically releasing right around the corner. But before we get into it, a quick word from today's sponsor. There's literally only one case where I'll get very angry while playing Valorant, and that's if I have a lag spike, and I think you can understand why. This is also a problem on console, and until now, there wasn't really a solution. Luckily, Gear has our back with the next generation game acceleration router, Hyper-EV. Now, there's a couple key features, starting with feature number one, which is the gaming fencing technology. When we set ourselves to a specific server, we may increase longer matchmaking time. However, the gaming fencing technology allows the audience to play within a range of servers, enjoying both low ping and fast matchmaking. Just on your phone, it takes one swipe and it's going to connect you to the nearest players within a certain radius to allow a balance between latency and stability. Feature number two, reducing latency. High ping is what makes us frustrating, but Hyper-EV's adaptive intelligence routing, also called AIR, that's what they call it, is a mode for ping reduction that uses 7,500 global nodes to significantly reduce ping, giving you ultra low latency gaming. The third feature, anti-packet loss. Packet loss is a huge issue that I know you've heard of before and can cause insane stuttering, especially during crucial moments, since that's when a lot of information is being sent to the server. Hyper-EV's anti-packet loss actively mitigates packet loss, ensuring smooth gameplay even in unstable network conditions. And for you PC players, you're not left in the dust, as there is Gear Up, an application that you can simply download, open up, and then a ton of games are available for boosting. In this case, I'll click Valorant, it'll boost, and now I'll have lower ping. It's really that simple. So really, what are you waiting for? Time to experience lower and stable ping with reductions as much as 50 ping and 0 packet loss. Try Hyper-EV now using the link below. And a huge shout out to Gear Up and Hyper-EV for sponsoring today's video. I think the biggest question here is if this game will be standing alongside it as a competitor by then. It has changed up. I can tell just by looking at the latest gameplay that people have. They've changed up stuff like the menu and even certain gun selections. There's less copy pasting when it comes to skins. There's a lot more copy pasting with skins before. Looks like there's this new like loot system, which looks like, I don't know, like Destiny 2 or something like that, like some sort of rarity system. There's, you know, the whole champ or agent select, but it's hard to really tell from here because we don't have as much details. And actually on their official YouTube, they're just posting troll videos right now. They are literally just posting troll videos. No one even knows if this is really going to release, and if it does, if it will actually stand a chance before it just gets shut down again. And what I've realized is like they're taking some inspiration from Overwatch as well now. I mean, this map, sure, it kind of looks like Bind, but really at that point, I feel like I'm reaching. I also want to be somewhat realistic. We can see the guns also changed up. They were a lot more copy-paste compared to Valorant. They're still like, you know, Vandal, Phantom, that type of stuff, but it is less copy-paste. I can't really correlate the skin to too much. Maybe the RGX, but I feel again I'm reaching. We have, instead of let's say a Sova shock arrow, you actually have to aim it and point it. So it's like they changed enough, or maybe it was more like a Yoru bounce flash. There's still the sights which look similar. With all that being said, companies aren't gonna back down. So while Hyperfront 2, a Valorant clone originally called Project M, released as Hyperfront 2, then shut down just to be re-released as Operation Apocalypse is only the beginning. Because as Valorant Mobile approaches, they know that it will become king. So other companies are now racing to fight. And you know what's even funnier? What makes this story take a crazy turn? That there is another game that is entering called Ace Force 2. This is also a tactical shooter who takes heavy inspiration from Valorant, but it is being released by Tencent. The parent company of Riot Games is releasing a Valorant competitor right as Valorant Mobile is in development. And because it's being released by Tencent, it means there will be no legal battle, regardless of how close it comes to copying Valorant. And today we're going to be looking at this. Now, I am going to be transparent with you guys right now. Ace Force 2, Tencent themselves have paid me before to sponsor Ace Force 2. I have done a sponsored video for this, a paid sponsor. That is not this video, and it is completely something else because, like I said, I don't really care that they're copying Valorant. They're both owned by Tencent. They can do whatever they want. They wanted to pay me to promote it, and that's fine. Your boy's going to secure the bag, and I don't think anyone's going to care because it's not going to stop me from saying this. That is the same inspect animation as a default Valorant knife. That looks exactly like a ghost, and this smoke looks like any other smoke. But something's going on here. If we look at the walking animation and we listen to that kill sound, this is actually a lot like Counter-Strike as well, which is ironic because Valorant, like it or not, was some form of copy from Counter-Strike. And then this is some weird hybrid version that's bridging the gap between the two, Valorant and Counter-Strike. Though this death sound is definitely more Counter-Strike. But this is a jet dash straight up. And here we're going to see something that's reminiscent of a Phoenix wall as well as an ISO shield. And the more you watch, the more you realize it's basically Counter-Strike gunplay with Valorant abilities in the graphic style of like Apex Legends or Borderlands. So I think it's fair to say it's not exactly like Hyperfront because Hyperfront was more of a one-to-one, where this has its own things. Like that looks like Phoenix Wall X Viper Wall, if that makes sense. And then there's a Molly's a Molly because that came from Counter-Strike, so it's hard to say too much. But then there's something going on that makes it even funnier. Sure, that's kind of like an ISO shield or harbor wall that you can push out and then stop, but then look at this. Wait, doesn't that look familiar? Not exactly Hyperfront 2, but then the re-release of Operation Apocalypse. So wait a minute, are they also copying their own copy from the competitor while implementing Counter-Strike, which was the original game that Valorant copied? This is getting messy. Basically, this is an amalgamation of stuff. We can see the gun skins and even the knife looks all like Counter-Strike. Then here I thought a breach ult was coming, but then it was just a big wall. Then I thought there was gonna be a Killjoy turret, but then it's like a clone that's poached up. So it's a lot less obvious than Hyperfront, to say the least, but it's still a tactical mobile hero shooter that's now taking inspiration from multiple games, which of course is a little bit better than Valorant, but nonetheless it makes the story funny because of how much there's sort of like intercopying between one another. In my opinion, nothing's gonna peak Hyperfront just because, actually I kept saying Hyperfront 2, was it just 1 this whole time? Either way, nothing's gonna peak it. I mean, look at these. The only unique thing they had was like this, and like that's saying a lot. But what do you think about like Valorant clones, or ones that are like sub clones, for example, like Ace Force 2, which is a mixture of a bunch of things? Do you think they're good or bad? It's just kind of weird. They always come through the mobile market, and that's just because of the loose regulations that China has when it comes to copyright law. So that's the main reason that they kind of burst into the mobile market. I personally don't care too much, but when I see stuff like this, it's definitely funny, and I think it's a good laugh and a fun showcase.